Oi gente, salut, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia Manicucci and I'm a Brazilian living in Romania. And if you're new to the channel, just know that here we talk about Romania in general, Romanian food, Romanian language, Romanian beautiful places, Romanian culture. And today I want to talk something that a lot of people ask me about, and it's like Romanian stereotypes. There is a lot of curiosity out there, so let's get right into it. Let's be real, stereotypes are everywhere, and don't even get me started on the stereotypes about Brazil, right? But sometimes the stereotypes about Romania sound a bit outdated, and sometimes completely coming from vampires.
Vampire?
So, using my experience living here over 7 years and some real facts, let's get into these stereotypes head on. We will look to what is a myth and what is real, all shared with a lot of respect to this amazing country. So, are you ready? Let's go. So, let's get the big one out of the way. Vampires, Dracula, Transylvania. Well, when people find out I live in Romania, usually the first question I get is like, wow, Romania, are there vampires there?
Okay, vampire killers. Let's kill some fucking vampires.
And look, I get it. Bram Stoker wrote that super famous book about Dracula in Transylvania, which is very loosely inspired in a very famous Romania historic figure, Vlad the Impaler. He's actually from Wallachia, but he has some connection with Transylvania. So yeah, it is some historical facts over there, but mostly it's just fiction. I still remember when I found out I was coming to Romania for Erasmus and a friend of mine in Brazil asked,
"Oh, are you going to the land of the vampires?"
I know, it was all in good fun, but now, reality check. Transylvania is one of the most beautiful regions I have ever seen in my life. Think about stunning, colorful medieval towns like Sighișoara or Sibiu, the beautiful, beautiful Carpathian Mountains, gorgeous castles like Palace or Corvins, which look coming straight out of a fairy tale. Not eternal darkness.
A dark place.
While Dracula tourism is actually a thing here and you can visit the Bran Castle and see a lot of things about vampires, this is only a small part of it. Real Romanians are not walking around thinking about vampires all day long, right? It's much more like an external fascination than an internal one, you know what I mean? The real Transylvania is filled with normal people living modern lives. It's rich in culture, history, nature, and much more. My personal experience, yeah, when I first came to Romania, I did think about the longhorn dragons from Harry Potter. And did I expect to see a vampire one day? Maybe a little bit. But the reality I found here was much better than this. Charming little towns, big Bucharest, really kind people, and absolute zero vampires. Well, as far as I know. Stereotype number 2. The idea that Romania is poor, underdeveloped, super grey, and kind of frozen in the communist era. So now let's be real. Romania went through very tough times, especially after the 1989 revolution that ended communism. The transition had huge challenges, and yes, you absolutely see grey blocks and reminders of the communism in many places, but Romania is definitely not stuck in the past. This image is super outdated, especially after Romania joined the EU in 2007. Seriously now, Romania is always highlighted as one of the countries that grows super fast in the European Union. There is this booming tech sector. Bucharest and Cluj are literally called the Silicon Valley of the Eastern Europe. 6 to 7% of the Romanian GDP is due to the IT sector. You see multinationals everywhere, construction, and all modernization type. You know, seeing the transformation through the eyes of a visitor says everything. When my parents came to visit me here in 2023, they were shocked because the image that they had in their minds was very different from what they found out arriving here. They were absolutely amazed. They found Bucharest so vibrant, cosmopolitan, diverse, and they were shocked of how widely English is spoken here. They loved the blend of beautiful European vibes, the reason why Bucharest is called the Little Paris, with the new, modern, vibrant skyscrapers, beautiful tall buildings, the multinationals, the glass buildings. So these different vibes was a very special thing they found to be here. Seeing their genuine surprise coming to Romania really woke me up of how much Romania's stereotype of being underdeveloped is wrong and needs to be touched. So yes, Romania has layers of history, from the Dacian cities to the communist era, and you see parts of it in the cities, in the small towns, but Romania is a moving forward country, that's for sure. So the third stereotype is a bit sensitive, but it definitely needs addressing. Unfortunately, very often Romanians face this very unfair stereotype that is connecting them to theft and dishonesty, especially when traveling to another Western European countries. But it's not, absolutely not a real thing. Actually, let me share with you guys an example that highlights also the fact that sometimes I have my head in the clouds. So, not long ago, I was hanging out with my friends, going to another pub, and I had a bag. Just a parenthesis here. I don't usually go out with bags because my phone and my wallet fit in my pocket. So the bag this day was just for the outfit. So naturally, I wasn't paying attention to it. At the second pub that we were, I suddenly realized that I didn't have my bag with me anymore. Oh my god, totally panic. And I told the staff that was working there, and instantly, everyone started looking for it. From bartenders to people that were serving the drinks, and everyone started looking everywhere and behind the chairs and under the tables. But unfortunately, in the end of the night, they came very apologetic and very sad to tell me that unfortunately nobody found my bag. I mean, just their reaction, how much they tried to help, already says a lot about the people. Then, the next day, something clicked on my head. Maybe I left it in the first pub. So I went there, my heart was pounding a bit because I had a bunch of stuff inside of that bag. And I asked them if I had left my bag there. And yes, they found it. They brought it back, happy, smiling, and handed me my lost bag. And the best part, I checked inside and I had everything. My keys, my wallet, and my makeup. Everything untouched. Honestly, that experience speaks to me volumes about how people are honest and willing to help you in these situations here in Romania, much more than any stereotype you can hear. So look, Romania has its problems. There is crime and theft here like any other country in the world, but the way that this stereotype gets applied to people and to the country in general is extremely exaggerated and, I must say, super unfair. So let's talk numbers. Statistically, if you look to data from websites like Eurostat or the Global Peace Index, Romania always shows lower rates of crimes, specifically mainly violent crimes like homicide, than most of the other capitals in Europe. So, my personal experience. As I said in the other video, why I live in Romania, the feeling of being safe is huge for me. And I walk freely in Romania, very chill, and I don't have problems with dishonesty. Of course, common sense applies everywhere. So you gotta be paying attention to your pockets in more crowded areas, but like you would be in Rio or in Paris or in Rome or in New York, you know? But the overall feeling is safety. And when it comes to dishonesty part, my personal experience is completely the opposite. I have found so much kindness, helpfulness, and genuine honesty from Romanian people. Neighbors, colleagues, people on the street, bartenders trying to find my bag, and etc. Okay, moving to something that needs to be addressed. And it's super important to clarify because it makes a lot of confusion and, frankly, unfair stereotypes, especially outside of Romania. I'm talking about the crucial difference between Romanians and Roma people. Often, people from other countries, sometimes even unintentionally, mistaken the terminologies of Roma people with Romanians. Or worse, they call gypsy all the Romanian people. And I want to highlight here, the word gypsy is considered to be super offensive by most of the Roma community. And people apply these stereotypes to all Romanians, regardless. This confusion leads to negative ideas that people have applied to Roma people to be applied also to the citizens of Romania. And believe me, it's just not theoretical. It's actually happening in reality. Being married to a Romanian, Vlad, I see this being played out in many places we traveled inside of Europe. Often people react very warmly and positively when I say I'm from Brazil. But once Vlad says that he's from Romania, I instantly see the shift in their faces, sometimes looking with a weird face or not enjoying the information. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's there. And it goes also beyond the looks. He has been actually asked if he could read people's palms or tell people's fortune. And you can say it was a joke, but is it funny? Think about that. It clearly shows how some stereotypes historically applied to the Roma people traditions are being connected to all the Romanian people. I mean, people don't understand the difference. That's why being crystal clear about these differences is so important. So let's break it down respectfully. Romanians are the nationality, the citizens of Romania. Most of them are not Roma. The Roma people are a distinct ethnic group. They have their own unique language, Romani. They have their own unique culture, traditions, and they have a long history, which some theories say that it traced back to India centuries ago. Roma communities exist within Romania as a minority group, but it also exists in several other countries like Spain, Portugal, Italy, Brazil, and many others. So why making this distinction and fighting stereotypes in general matters so much? Because applying ignorant generalizations based on ethnicity or nationality to an entire group, being Brazilians, Roma people, Romanians, Italians, or whatever, is simply wrong, lazy, and deeply harmful. Trust me, I know as a Brazilian woman what it feels like to be painted with the ugly brush. I've encountered so many exhausting stereotypes. The assumptions about Brazilian women being overly objectified or sexualized. The ideas that everyone back home is uneducated, poor, and that we practically live all in jungles. I will never forget living in Italy years ago when someone literally asked if I bought my first pair of jeans when I went to Italy. Like, something so basic like a pair of jeans is not something that Brazilians have back home. Saying it out loud can sound completely absurd, but it's a perfect example of the power of the stupidity of these ingrained stereotypes people actually carry without thinking. My perspective, living in Romania and being married to a Romanian man, and also being a Brazilian and suffering stereotypes myself, is the following. We gotta know people by themselves. Get to know the individual. Don't rely on lazy, hurtful, ignorant stereotypes. Learn about cultures with respect and curiosity. And please make the effort to not generalize distinct group of people. Understanding the difference between Romanians and Roma people is a vital step towards having a more accurate, respectful, and fair view of Romania and Romanians. So that's my take on a few common stereotypes about Romania. We busted some myths and probably we got to talk about the reality of Romania being more fair and more understanding of its history, diverse population, culture, and everything. Look, no country is perfect. Romania has its challenges, has a lot to grow and to improve, but more than that, Romania has also its strengths and beauty. My biggest hope is that sharing with you my Brazilian perspective after living here for so many years will bring you a light about this so amazing, beautiful country. And what stereotypes have you faced about your own country, about yourself? Do you know any stereotype about Romania that I didn't mention? If so, please say it down here. I appreciate your help, your comment, your like, and if you found it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and that's it. Pupici. Papa.